Canal 1. Somos contenido.
Welcome to Innovation, the program that is focused on clinical engineering, health technology management, and biomedical engineering. Muy buenas noches y son ustedes bienvenidos a Health and Innovation, un programa que promueve gestión de tecnología en salud, innovación, ingeniería clínica e ingeniería biomédica en la salud. Esta noche tengo el muy gran gusto de darle la bienvenida a la ingeniera Lejla Gurbeta. It's my pleasure to welcome Lejla Gurbeta. She's PhD in Biomedical Engineering at International BURCH University, co-director of the laboratory in the Institute, and also assistant professor at International BURCH University, secretary of Bosnia and Herzegovina Medical and Biological Engineering Society. Lejla es PhD en Ingeniería Biomédica, es también codirectora del laboratorio en la ciudad de Bosnia-Herzegovina, profesora asistente en la Universidad Internacional BURCH y secretaria de la Sociedad de Medicina y Biología e Ingeniería en Bosnia-Herzegovina. Welcome, very pleased to welcome here you, Lejla. Let's talk about the first topic. Vamos a conversar en este primer tema. Health technology planning demands some requirements. Please remark just one of them in the case of the hospital, and also share with us the pertinence of health technology planning in COVID-19 context. El planeamiento de la tecnología en salud requiere algunos requerimientos, tiene algunas demandas. Comparte con nosotros solamente una de ellas y también, por favor, bríndanos tus aportes sobre la pertinencia de hacer planeamiento de tecnología para la salud en el contexto del COVID-19.
Hi, Rossana. First of all, good evening to everyone, and thank you for having me to this interesting program. I'm really glad to be able to share my experience with you and all of your viewers. So something about health technology planning demands. As we all know, coronavirus caused thousands of people in need of hospitalization in healthcare institutions simultaneously. And so as soon as the problem with COVID-19 emerged, recommendations and guidelines for patient treatment and essential medical products were published by various bodies, such as the World Health Organization or the United States Food and Drug Administration. Or if we go beyond, we can see the recommendations from the National Health Commission of the People's Republic of China, etc., etc. So these guidelines have changed daily to tackle this disease in most effective way. As we go back in the early days of the pandemic, many COVID-19 guidelines imply the mandatory use of mechanical ventilators for the treatment of patients with severe symptoms. Also, these recommendations imply the use of personal protective equipment in the community, home care, and healthcare settings. So, at these early beginnings of the pandemics, mechanical ventilators, personal protective equipment, and diagnostic tests had become essential medical products in COVID-19 response, which was published by World Health Organization. And as soon as these guidelines and recommendations were published, they led to the unprecedented and almost immediate shortage of these medical products, which had huge socio-economic implications worldwide. So the demand for these medical products increased. And at times such this pandemics, it becomes clear how health technology planning is needed actually to ensure efficiency and quality of care which is provided to the patients. So understanding these demands for health technology is only one part of the huge process which is called health technology management, which can also be considered as part of clinical engineering, which is an area of biomedical engineering, as you have introduced, which comprises not only of this planning, but also of needs assessment, selection, procurement, donations, inventory, but also installation and maintenance of medical equipment. And nowadays, these health technology demands are really strongly influenced by three significant factors, which can be seen as costs of the healthcare technology, the technology itself, whether it's improved, and also social expectations. And by this third factor, we can say that we can actually measure the quality of care. But when we look at that from the financial point of view, that quality of care and social expectations, they are measured as gross national product. So to conclude this, I can say that the demand for health technology planning, based on some literature review and experience, they have three factors as well. They can be seen through the clinical necessity. They can be seen through management support, and also they can see through market preference. So we can say we can see this health technology demand in terms how the technology meets the medical standards, how it impacts the care quality, how it impacts the life quality, also how it affects the care in terms of accuracy, specificity, reliability, and timing, whether it reduces errors and it improves the predictability of the outcomes. As we are speaking from the management support, we are interested in seeing better or more effective decision-making protocol, how we are improving operational and maintenance efficiency, how do we facilitate development of current offering services, especially in the time of need when let's say a majority of people is in need for healthcare. When we're observing that demand from the market, we can analyze it from several points of view, such as how it improves access to quality care, how it increases customer satisfaction, how it enhances organization or service image, how does it affect on market share, etc., etc. So COVID put a lot of burden on healthcare institutions, and it was on the clinical engineering departments actually to do this planning. And it was really difficult during COVID-19, especially because of the higher demand. So not only medical producers, manufacturers were producing medical equipment, but also other manufacturers included in this process. And now we are in a situation when we have healthcare institutions which are flooded with all sorts of medical devices. And now it is really important to inspect the performance and accuracy of these devices that maybe were produced under some legal concessions due to this high demand. So now we have, I will not say ended the fight with COVID, but we have really responded to this higher demand. And now we are left in a position where we have a huge number of medical devices, and we need to do very good post-market surveillance. We need to ensure that their accuracy and efficiency and performance is really good, and it's not affecting the patients that these devices are being used on. So that is, as I see it, really new challenge that we need to tackle yet.
Estamos en esta parte compartiendo excelentemente una visión bastante holística de por qué el planeamiento de tecnología es ahora y más que nunca pertinente, relevante en el contexto de la salud, sobre todo en el contexto de la pandemia. Empecemos por parte de lo que Lejla nos comparte. Son organizaciones como la Organización Mundial de la Salud, la FDA, las asociaciones profesionales de China, entre otras, las que están compartiendo guías de práctica, guías clínicas, guías técnicas a lo largo de los años antes de pandemia y durante la pandemia, sobre todo muchas indicaciones, mucha información para poder tomar las mejores decisiones en beneficio de los pacientes en temas de la atención a la pandemia. Sin embargo, es también por el lado de tecnología en donde la pandemia nos muestra cuán importante está ligado tanto a la salud como al ambiente, como aspectos inclusive de la alimentación. Todo ello indica que la relevancia de la tecnología para salud es cada vez mayor. En este contexto, nosotros experimentamos dentro de la pandemia no solamente un desborde de una enorme demanda, absolutamente enorme, de tecnología para poder trabajar adecuadamente en respuesta a los servicios, pero también en el manejo local de esta tecnología, que antes no se había dado, que antes no se había producido y que ahora genera diferentes necesidades y todas al mismo tiempo muy convergentes. Lejla también nos invita a reflexionar sobre la toma de decisiones, aspectos como la toma de decisiones para adquirir, para usar, para abastecer, distribuir la tecnología a lo largo de los procesos que implica los servicios de salud. Solo para recordarnos algunos de los diversos actores que exigen que haya un planeamiento. Un interesante aspecto de los varios que menciona está relacionado con esta articulación de lo que está pasando ahora y de lo que va a pasar después de la pandemia. Y hace una muy interesante relación con los aspectos de la normativa, la legislación, que se están considerando por el momento en el contexto de la pandemia como vigentes, pero que probablemente deban ser revisados o no, o deban ser eliminados una vez que pase el contexto. ¿Qué está pasando en este momento con estas condiciones normativas y de legislación? ¿Qué va a pasar después? Entonces, por favor, acompáñenme con la mirada nuevamente holística de la enorme cantidad de aspectos convergentes cuando hablamos de tecnología en salud y por ello la constante conclusión de que planeamiento de tecnología es necesario para tomar decisiones, para a través de esas decisiones actuar responsable, oportuna y adecuadamente y ser consistente con la carrera, con la profesión de ingeniería biomédica e ingeniería clínica. I was very interested on your holistic approach, Lejla, because it drives us easily to how complex is the context, not because of the pandemic, it's a complex context itself. It was before the pandemic, but under the pandemic is evident it is more intense. But also it provides us the certitude that health technology planning is a must, not just for public organizations, but for private and non-profit organizations now, if we would like to keep us in the sustainable way. Let's go to the second topic. Share with us one relevant challenge you managed regarding clinical engineering teamwork in this context, Lejla. Comparte con nosotros, en el caso del contexto del COVID-19, un reto que hayas enfrentado en el caso de la ingeniería clínica y tu equipo de trabajo. El micro. The microphone is mute in this moment.
I hope that you can hear me now. So thank you for the question. In order to answer this, you need to understand the context that I'm working in. The past year and a half has been very challenging for our team as well. I am working in the team with Verlab company. Verlab company is located here in the Southeast Europe, and we are working in the field of biomedical and clinical engineering. In our work, we are collaborating with international organizations and national regulatory bodies, and our core activities are inspection and testing of medical devices. We are also very active in developing digital platforms for healthcare, as well as providing consultations in the field of biomedical and clinical engineering. All of these activities are conducted within 3 organizational units within our company. But for this topic, the most interesting part is accredited National Reference Laboratory for Inspection of Medical Devices, which is appointed by National Institute of Metrology as a reference laboratory for inspecting 10 different types of medical devices. I will just mention some of them. For example, ECG devices, defibrillators, anesthesia machines, and particularly mechanical ventilators, and so on and so on. This laboratory is performing these inspections according to the international standard for inspection bodies, and that standard is 17020. So we had really, we did a lot of work during this COVID-19 pandemics. Our team was constantly in healthcare institutions, even during the pandemic, and they did continuous inspection of performance of medical devices. For example, if we are speaking about mechanical ventilators, using our calibrated etalones, we were checking if the volume, the pressure, and the flow, which is set on the mechanical ventilator, is really what is set, and that it is in allowed errors, in the allowed range. So these mechanical ventilators actually had a significant impact on the patient treatment, and that was why it was really, really important that these mechanical ventilators, they are technically good, and that their output parameters which are affecting the patient are in these technical specification. On the other hand, our team published an article discussing the consequences of these legal concessions of medical devices during COVID-19 pandemics, as I mentioned previously. So globally, the increased need for healthcare revealed the same systematic weakness in terms of system response, whether we are speaking about Sarajevo, whether we are speaking about Peru or some other countries. So apart from the lack of medical professionals available to manage this high number of patients, which was from this point of view reasonably expectable, the response to shortage of essential medical products was the major weakness of healthcare system during this COVID-19 response. And this could have been avoided if some rules, guidelines, and procedures for emergency production approval and management existed. And this pandemic actually showed that raising the global awareness and the knowledge about the importance of respecting these essential requirements is a precondition for assuring the appropriate quality, performance, and safety of medical products, especially during this high demand. And with this article, we actually propose, based on the risk analysis that we conducted, we have some few recommendations. And these recommendations are to define available minimum technical specification for essential medical product and treatment, to define shorter versions of emergency use authorization for these essential medical products, but with procedure, to define minimum requirements for production of essential medical products in extraordinary situations, but for non-medical manufacturers. And also, what is really important and what we saw during pandemics, the need for creating national and international inventory database of medical products so that you have more efficiency when you are responding to crises such this. So these set of general recommendations were produced by our team. They were published in one article. It is available online, and we hope that for future pandemics, this research will be at least a basis for defining better national response to pandemics. Rossana.
Sí, el micro. Please unmute my micro. Lejla comparte con nosotros que en su equipo de trabajo ella en realidad trabaja con 3 axes, 3 ejes. Por razones del tiempo que tenemos disponible, ella solamente va a elegir uno, que es el que trabaja con el tema de los dispositivos, la acreditación de tecnología, el laboratorio de acreditación de tecnología médica, ¿no? Ellos trabajan con laboratorios de metrología con 10 diferentes tipos de tecnología. Menciona como ejemplo el electrocardiógrafo, los ventiladores mecánicos, en general, algunos de ellos. La idea es, a través de estos laboratorios, de trabajar la exactitud, la apropiación de las condiciones mejores para optimizar el desempeño de los dispositivos de la tecnología médica. Yendo un poco más allá sobre el contexto del COVID-19, Lejla nos recuerda que el contexto del COVID-19 hizo incrementar, como dijo anteriormente, la enorme demanda de tecnología propia, local, pero también encontrar rápidamente grandes cuellos de botella, obstáculos de parte de los países para responder a la pandemia en los momentos adecuados. Y esto lo comparte Perú, lo comparte Bosnia-Herzegovina. No es solamente la falta de recursos humanos disponibles, pero es también la falta de protocolos, procesos adecuados para una situación de emergencia. Entonces, ellos han trabajado sobre condiciones, mejoras, condiciones, iniciativas en la mirada de un conjunto de dispositivos o productos médicos esenciales. Y a través de esta selección de productos médicos o dispositivos o tecnologías esenciales, ¿cuáles son los criterios, tanto para la autorización, los procesos de autorización para que sean incorporados, como para los procesos de fabricación, los requerimientos mínimos a través del análisis del riesgo y otros criterios? Finalmente, y con esta misma mirada, otra contribución de su equipo de trabajo en ingeniería clínica ha sido la publicación, un artículo en el cual todo esto que estamos manejando se sistematiza y genera una recomendación basada en un conjunto de recomendaciones o sugerencias puntuales, entre las cuales están el aspecto administrativo normativo, el aspecto del protocolo, los temas referidos a los criterios para autorización de las líneas de fabricación, los criterios para autorización de la fabricación de productos médicos, también para los procesos de distribución, atención de suministros, es decir, cómo se puede hacer desde el enfoque sistémico una respuesta cabal siempre y cuando manejemos el criterio de un conjunto de tecnología denominada esencial para situaciones de emergencia. Recordaremos, no estamos hablando de que se permite todo, al contrario, es un análisis del riesgo muy, muy medido, es una mirada muy focalizada de la ingeniería clínica a través de esta tecnología en respuesta a tiempos cortos y demandas muy por encima de lo esperado jamás. We have just 5 minutes, Lejla, so I believe that we don't have time for the last question, but I would like your very short, please, last insight for us before we finish this really nice reunion. Una última mirada muy corta porque no tenemos más que 5 minutos, pero me gustaría una idea fuerza tuya antes de terminar nuestra interesantísima sesión.
Well, Rossana, as we all know, to tackle any challenge such as this COVID-19, our global partnership and network are very valuable. We know what we are doing with international organizations such as International Federation on Medical and Biological Engineering, and how they helped us by setting up online repository on COVID-19 for global community, providing many articles about clinical technology, policy, and practice, which were really helpful for any professional working in the field of health technology and clinical engineering. I can say that no country can overcome this pandemic alone, and that global solidarity is not only a moral imperative, but it's in everyone's interest. And I hope that the lessons learned during pandemics such as this one will really serve us to improve the quality of care in the future.
Lejla destaca el valor de la colaboración global y del networking y pone como muy claro ejemplo el IFMB, la sociedad que estamos generando un repositorio para la investigación y el trabajo aplicado en investigación aplicada dirigida a la respuesta del COVID como un ejemplo concreto de cómo este esfuerzo puede generar la contribución directa, el fortalecimiento directo entre todos los colaboradores. Ciertamente menciona que el COVID-19 nos va a reunir a todos en una nueva mirada de lo que es el valor de la profesión, pero sobre todo las capacidades que podemos tener para poder afrontar las soluciones que se nos exigen en contextos tan difíciles. Y esto ciertamente es positivo. I appreciate very much this really intense and very productive reunion, Lejla. I promise this won't be the last one. We will keep in contact as always. I am very honored to be your partner and your friend, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Rossana, very much for the invitation. And really, I can see us furthering on the collaboration and the friendship. So thank you very much.
Amigos, es una gran alegría para mí cerrar una sesión tan intensa y tan pequeña en términos de lo que podemos compartir. Deseo a todos una excelente fin de día, pero quedamos en comunicación para nuestros siguientes programas. Hasta pronto.
Canal 1.